Hi. Hey. Y'all come on in. Come on in. I'm going to give you a little time to come in, grab your tea and your coffee or whatever. Let's get settled into the Counseling Cafe tonight. With much anticipation, we have been waiting for tonight. So y'all come on in. Let me cut on the comments because I want to see if you guys are joining us tonight. Would you please do me a favor and put your name and where you're from in the comment section so that we will know who has joined us tonight. I'm so super excited. So again, if you are just logging in, put your name in the comment section so that we will know who you are. I'm actually going to record this for a possible radio. So come on in, guys. I see you. Y'all are coming in tonight. Just put your name and where you're from in the comment section, please. We're just getting some, we're just going to allow you some time to come on in. Hold on, I'm trying to start a new one. Oh, there we go. So y'all come on in tonight. Who's on? Where you're from? Say hello to everybody. Who is on tonight? Who's joining us? Hey, Victoria. Victoria, where are you originally from and then where are you now? That's my daughter, so everybody knows she's yes. So come on in, guys. Victoria was bold enough to say hello to us, guys. If you guys can say hello and where you're from, we would greatly appreciate it. And as you log in, I know that something that's going to be said tonight is going to inspire, is going to motivate, and going to empower. So would you do me a favor and don't start a watch party, but if you could just go ahead and share it. And by doing so, then we're able to see your comments. So, Victoria, okay, so you're from Pennsylvania, Victoria, but you live in Louisiana. Okay. All right. So they're coming on in. If you are joining us tonight, if you are a weekly subscriber or you always join the Counseling Cafe on Mondays, would you do me a favor and just put your name and where you're from before we get started? We have the lovely, hey, Leslie. I have my own project. Look, Leslie was like, oh, two divas. I got to put on a prom dress tonight.
No prom dress here tonight, okay?
No prom dress for a weekend. But Leslie, where are you from? Please chime in. And would y'all do me a favor? Would y'all share this? I'm telling you, somebody is going to be empowered. Tonight might save somebody's life. Here on the on this Counseling Cafe, we talk about mental health and spirituality. We talk about real issues. So I promise you, tonight might save somebody's life. Amber, you're from Clinton, Louisiana. Hey, girl. Hey. So if you are joining us, please do me a favor. Put where you're from. Say hi to us. We have the beautiful diva. Leslie says, I'm from Philly. I am now in Maryland. Okay, White Marsh. Okay, we feeling it. Okay, finally the audience is coming in. I see y'all. If y'all can say hi. Okay, Shay says Philly on the Boulevard. Okay, Boulevard. I see you.
That's my girl.
Okay. Everybody chime on a hey, Tori Young. Hey. Philly in the house. Philly is in the house. Philly's always in the house. It is what it is. So look, let me cut off my cafe music because I definitely want to start to record and to talk to my beautiful guest that we have here. We've been knowing each other since I was in college, which was a very long time ago, but we both look 20, so it is what it is, right?
Yes.
That's what it is. We don't it is what it is.
It's going to be and going to stay what it's going to be, okay?
It's going to stay. Right. She is well traveled. She is absolutely a singer. She's been on television. She's toured with Kendrick Music Soul Child. Ooh, wait a minute, did I get that right?
Kendrick the Family Soul. I have on a shirt so y'all can see it. I'm representing their paraphernalia today. You tried. You did real good. You was in there.
Wait a minute. What's funny is my church girl comes out because it's like, Dion, do you even know everybody? I'm a mess, Tamara. I'm a mess.
It's fine. I know Music Soul Child. We were friends.
Okay.
It all works out together. It's fine.
Okay. They're cool. Wait a minute. We going off on tangent, but he's from Philly too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So Leslie said, okay, 20s. It is what it is, Les. What's the problem? It is. 2-0. That's right. So tonight, we are talking to our beautiful, lovely Tamara. Could you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am Tamara R. Hudson. I am an author. I am a singer, motivational speaker, many things. You can go to my website to check all that out, but we can post later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, born and raised, I'm a preacher's kid, born and raised in church, and just happened to be blessed with the opportunity to experience the best of both worlds. So as a teenager in college, I was blessed to meet a group by the name of Kendrick the Family Soul that were just starting out at the time, and that was when the whole neo soul sound was coming out with Jill Scott, Music Soul Child. And so the, gospel singer that thought she was going to be the next Beyonce, kind of had her little moment, So I was able to tour the world and everything like that. I was in Africa. I was in Europe several times. I traveled the U.S., Aruba, you name it, we were traveling. And so after that, the music industry started to change. And so I kind of came back home and things like that. And then everything kind of took from there. I met a childhood sweetheart and we got married. We started church and life has just been very different since then. So that's a little bit quickly about my journey. I'm a mother of one son, Hayden Hamilton, who is absolutely amazing and incredible. And so, yeah, life has brought me a long way. And I'm just grateful that God allowed me to experience what I've experienced.
That's a blessing. And once you guys get to see her, those that do not know her, once you guys get to experience her, not only is she musical and she's so down to earth and she keeps it 100 and very transparent, but she's also prophetic and she also has a good gift. Friend. And she will never, ever look like what she's been through. But what I love about God is that she has been through some things, but he has graced her with such a grace and a dignity that she will never, ever look like some of the things that she has experienced. So we want to impart into you today. We want to share some of those things with you. And guys, if you're just logging in, you are still welcome to put your name and to tell us where you're from. And this is interactive. If you have questions, we encourage you to submit them in the comment section. Also, please do not start a watch party, but would you do us a favor and share? Every single week, I give feedback about how somebody was delivered and blessed. Tonight is not going to be any different. So would you please share? Do me a favor and just share right now. So Tamara, let's hop into it because there's so much that I kind of want to cover since you have that experience in the world and in the church. You are a bona fide church girl too, like myself.
Absolutely.
How would you, or what would you, let me see how I can word this. How would you say you've maintained your mental wellness and spirituality during difficult times in your life?
I would say that this is why it was important for us to be introduced to God as children, because when you're going through, that's not the time to find your anchor. You have to already have an anchor, already have to have some stability, because when life comes your way, if you don't already have something, faith or belief or just something to hold on to that times will get better or things will look up, life can take you out of here when you really, really understand that, life gets difficult. What we thought we went through in our teenage years, our mother's not letting us go places, and in our 20s. And not that life wasn't difficult, but when you really, really get into the thick of life and it comes at you every kind of way, I would say, this is for me, that if I didn't already have a hold, number one, in God, already know who I am, by itself, and then in God as well, I would probably have given up a long time ago. It is the security in knowing who you are, and that what you're going through is but a light affliction that keeps you holding on until the change comes. So I think mentally we have to already, but if you're in a situation where that's not the case, then you kind of build from where you are. But I know for me, that's how I've been able to maintain spiritually. I will say that I have been through a metamorphosis, and I won't even get into that too early, but I will say that I went from being extremely religious to being spiritual, and that I came to know can be two different things, or is two different things.
Yeah.
And so I was used to doing a certain thing, and then, it always in my mind had a relationship with God, but you go through a metamorphosis where that relationship shifts from Sunday service to a personal relationship with God, to where you know his voice for yourself.
Yeah.
So that's been, without knowing that voice for myself, I would definitely not be here.
Yeah.
In my right mind today. Okay.
Right. Seriously. And you said something that's so important. And the one thing that you said was, if I did not know who I was, that right there, it's taken a lot of women and men so long to really say, this is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I'll tolerate. How do you think people can get there? If a person's kind of been a punching bag for a while, or easily influenced, and then they have an awakening, like, how do you think people can get to the place where, like, they know themselves and they know what they want?
Right. A lot of that, and which is why we have a lot of broken adults, because a lot of that starts with, again, your mother, your father. Words are so powerful. The reason why, I actually, I'll get into this a little bit, because I know religious folks, I don't know how you feel about it, but religious folks don't really get into signs like Taurus and Pisces. People don't get into that, but a lot of my mindset has changed about that. I was born a Taurus, which I'm already born with a specific kind of self-confidence, just by timing alone. Okay. But with that being said, I also come from a family of very strong and powerful worded females in my family, who my mom spoke into me, although my dad wasn't really there like that and different things like that. But my mom, so it started with me with the support, the emotional support.
Right.
For people that don't have that, it's a little more difficult to have that foundation of self-confidence. And then what happens is this. I know this is going to veer off. Okay.
That's okay.
We get into relationships.
That's right.
And those are not the right ones but they're the right ones at the time for whatever we need to learn. Because nothing, for me, nothing is happenstance. Nothing is a mistake. Whatever you're in, God has a reason, and whatever lesson you have to learn from that. So for me, for those that don't have a lot of self-confidence and things like that, I probably had too much and I got on people's nerves. Okay. Okay, so you don't want. Okay, no problem. I know who. Okay, so
I know me, right?
So for me, I'm a little different, but that's why I take pride in empowering other women, because I do realize that everybody is not necessarily like me. But don't get me wrong. Self-confidence wasn't my issue, but over time I had my own tests and trials. Okay, so God doesn't give everybody the same problem. Okay,
that's right.
But so for me, I think it was my foundation growing up. But I think people that don't have that, they seek it in other places. Yeah. But I think one day a light bulb goes off. At least we hope that it does. Where you watch something, somebody said something, you're encouraged by something else. Where if you didn't have it growing up, eventually you grab hold to your significance and you kind of ride that wave. And that's just what we hope for everybody to
yeah, hope that they get that evolution of, okay, if I didn't have people pouring into my life and things like that, then, and sometimes, let's just go here just a little bit. Sometimes going through the muddy, horrible parts of life will kick in a resilience that you didn't know you had, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And if maybe you started out like weak and not knowing who you are, but then after going through some trial and error, it'll kick in this resilience. And sometimes, like you said, they need to hear like a word, knowing that God has designed us to be the head and not to tail. And we hear that.
Right.
A lot of times we don't really apply it, into our life.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced, hey guys, so again, don't forget, y'all can make comments, y'all can ask questions, and we got you covered in the comment section. Have you ever experienced, even though I know that you have like a truckload of self-confidence, you've always had it since the day I met you, but have you ever experienced the feeling of shame or unworthiness? And if you have, how did you overcome it? How did you overcome shame?
To be very honest with you, personally, I don't really put myself in that position. But when you become an adult, when you are in relationships, when you put yourself in position as a leader, when you just start to experience life, when life happens, things become out of your control. So, I will say that, yes, I've definitely had shameful experiences. And like I said, I've dealt with that personally. Sometimes you do feel like you made the wrong choices.
Yeah.
When it comes to decision making, sometimes you feel like you made the wrong choice in a relationship and a mate. So you do your best to kind of get through those moments, although they're very, very difficult. When everything is easier said than done. You know what I mean? You could say whatever. When you're going through it, you have to have the fortitude. And I'm very big on feel, deal, and heal. You have to feel what you're going through. You put yourself in a position where you're oblivious to what you're actually dealing with. You know what I mean? But then, God gives us things in part. Sometimes he'll reveal this part about your situation, but then won't reveal the ending. Right. So we're ever learning every day to kind of build, from where we are. So anyway, back to the question. So yes, I've had those moments. I deal with things like I'm a public figure, but I deal with things sometimes silently. I'm very prayerful about what to say, when to say it, and how to say it.
Right.
So if I go through a season where I'm just like silent or I'm not really doing as much, something probably going on, not really bad, but I'm probably somewhere transitioning or shifting or just taking a moment or just whatever. Not that anything's necessarily wrong, and then sometimes there could be something wrong, but when God allows me to kind of reveal that, I try to do that in His timing. So I try not to wear the shame. I'm very resilient, like you said. I'm that person that even if I did go through that, you're going to read it on me very different. Very different.
You're not going. I'm not going to let you see me sweat, friend.
I don't have that. I don't have that in me to do.
So wait, let me interrupt you right here because okay. So here's my thing. We grew up with a little bit of that. Like, you don't let them see when you are a pastor's child. Can we just go down this aisle? When you are a pastor's child, you have to I don't want to say put on a face, but it's kind of like, I'm good. I don't care what you heard. Everything is fine over here. So then when you grow up and you experience the trials of life, you have that same mentality. But my question is, people sometimes call that being fake or phony. What would you say about it?
What I've come to realize is it has its place, because for me, I've been able to self-evaluate, handle myself in a very different kind of way. But I have also seen people that put on that facade and it damages them.
Yeah.
So it has its place. Like you have to know when to let your hair down and when to, because you can't be that all the time. You have to pray for outlets and opportunities and people to come into your life where, yes, as a leader, everybody can't see you with your hair down. Mm-hmm. Everybody can't see your weak moments. Everybody can't see you cry. That's not their place or their position. When God puts you as a leader, that's what he does. But what God does do is he will always, if you seek him and you make sure that it's in the right timing, he'll give you a place to put what you need to put, a best friend, a close friend, a mate, or whatever, to guide you through those moments and be that listening ear for you after you've been a listening ear for 200 people.
That's right.
So I don't at all agree with carrying, because my forefathers did that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My forefathers, carried it, because I do believe that stress will eat you up and facilitate as a disease. I believe it will go up. I believe that stress and your unconscious, what you think is in the back of your mind, is in your body. So you have to learn how to free yourself, even if you did it 20 years ago, as an adult, as a teenager, as a 20-something-year-old, or what have you. You have to figure out, where am I right now? How did I get here emotionally? Am I where I should be? Because if I'm not, let's go back to square one. Let's go back to my household. Let's go back to a broken. Let's go to a sexual situation. Let's go back to all the things so that going forward, we're not repeating the same thing.
The same cycle. I love it. And you said so much. I have here, Tammy says, some people just be wanting you to let your hair down so they can get close enough to you to find your weakness and use them against you. And when you are in that public light, your circle is so important. Your circle is almost everything. It can make or it can break you. But I love what you said about knowing when. So I am a firm believer. No, you don't let people, see you sweat, and you keep stepping, you keep doing whatever it is that you have to do. And then there's also a time when you do unmask and you say, I'm not feeling it today. And your face might show it. And guess what? Y'all will be all right. And I'm going to be all right.
Absolutely.
I'm not feeling it. But I also love that you were saying that you can retreat. So talk to us about when God kind of calls you, not in a depressed place, but if you're going through, that you kind of withdraw so that you can gain strength. What does that look like for you?
I'm very introspective, and when I'm going through something extremely difficult, I've gotten to a place with God where he let me know that there's two types of suffering. And for me, this is spiritual, because I'm very, human being, but I'm very spiritual as well. I look at everything I try to look at everything from a 360 view. So I can kind of, make sure I'm not looking at it only just for me. How does somebody else feel? Whatever. But I'm very spiritual. I always bring it back to that. So for me, I look at things as two different types of suffering. When I went through a hardship in my life that everything was falling apart. Like, you name it, it was falling apart. And I haven't really talked a whole bunch about my story. So this is interesting tonight. And I appreciate the invitation. But there was a time in my life where, people, saw my separation, things happened because the truth is I tried to keep it very, very on the low for a long time. I did not come out about it. I did not, because honestly, my relationship may have been over, but I still wanted to be a part of the ministry. And so for 2 years, nobody knew. Nobody knew. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell the members. And so that was just the beginning, because number one, I wanted his respects to still stay the same.
Absolutely.
And I had birthed that ministry just like it was my own. So for me, okay, we might not be together, but I ain't leaving this ministry.
That's right. This is part of it.
That's how I felt. That was like, these my babies. I've seen them get the Holy Ghost. I mean, I worked. I know people think it was all glitz and glamour because they don't know. But honey, I scrubbed tallest and put my investments in there. Okay,
that's right.
Okay, that's how we grew up. So Anyway, that was the beginning for me. But after that, I lost my job. I lost my home. I mean, which people don't know because I suffered in silence, but people have no idea that I went through a major transition after that. And it went on for several years before God transitioned that situation for me into a better situation, life, just a different whole thing. But the craziest part for me was I said, okay, God, why am I going through like this? And he took me to the book of Job. And he revealed to me that there's two types of suffering. So whenever I get into a very strong storm, it's one thing, okay, you got this going on over here, but when you're like attacked from every angle and it just seems like you can't get your head above water, I had to get to the point where he began to educate me. All I had was God's voice to tell me and show me what to do. So I had to rely wholly and solely on my relationship with God. There wasn't a major leader right then at that time. This is just my testimony. I had to literally hear God clear for myself. And this is when my spirituality really kicked up because I had no third party. I had no person in the middle. I had no pastor and preacher at that time to really speak to where I was going through. I heard preaching. I was a part of a ministry and stuff, and I'm not saying that wasn't important, but in the moment that I was going through, there were certain things that God had to tell me himself. And so anyway, the first type of suffering is you ask God, am I suffering? Am I going through? Am I feeling this way because of something I may have done?
That's right.
Is this reciprocity for me? Is this me getting back? Is this me reaping what I've sown?
That's right.
That's one way that life works. Okay? And then you deal with the repercussions of that. You move on, you restore, you go from there. Then there's another type of suffering, such as the big book of Job, which he was chosen to suffer.
Yes.
For a greater good.
Yeah.
And I realized that in that time of my life, God was literally choosing me for a greater good that I didn't know of. I went through everything very differently. And he commanded me to suffer in silence. I was not to reveal any part of my suffering until it was time. And he also put me in a position where I had to deal with people assuming what my silence meant. And so that was very difficult because when you have a story and not just a story, but the story, not just a truth or your truth, but the truth, it's very difficult to allow people to have their opinions in their mouths. I'm very much a defender of myself. Okay. But when God commands you for transition and shift's sake, you do it his way. So I know I talked a little bit. I don't mean to go all into that, but you do it that way because you know that at the end of it, if he chose you for it, there's a good at the end. So for me, if you take anything away from this, just ask yourself, what side of that suffering sometimes are you on? And of course, this is a little different than like mental health and things, but I mean, for the spiritual that are going through, a metamorphosis of changing, hopefully that helps you kind of decide what side you're kind of on. And be honest, you don't have to tell me about it. Just tell yourself, okay, you know what, I did do X, Y, and Z, and let that revelation kind of help you with moving forward.
Like everybody, so if we were in a session right now, I say this almost every time. If we were in a session, I would say it's time to take a cleansing breath. Because that right there is so healing. And if you guys are listening and I hear you're right, oh my God, yes, can you share this? Because this is what's going to help somebody who was not able to see it tonight. Don't start a watch party, please share it. Let me go back to what you said. Sometimes, Tamara, you have to be, I wish I had a microphone. See, I got my brush right here. We talking about mental health.
I got a pen.
We're talking about mental wellness, and I always incorporate spirituality into it because I think it's important. But I love what you said about when it's a God-ordained suffering. you have to be okay with your version of the story not being revealed. You will literally be told, keep your mouth shut. So, let them say whatever it is.
Facts.
That they want to say.
And they did.
Okay. We can go somewhere. I'm trying to. And human behavior, and they will. And I'm gonna pause it right there. And they will. Mm-hmm. And my thing is, sometimes when you're in church or when you're in our kind of church, you have to shout it out. You have to cry it out. Mm-hmm. You have to sing it out. You have to pray it out, mm-hmm. because you can't tell it out.
Right. You're right.
And the Lord will give you those secret confidants who you feel like can hold it. Mm-hmm. But it's like you got to work it out kind of on, mm-hmm. your own.
Mm-hmm. Because people can understand, people can have be empathetic or apathetic to you, but they don't always understand, mm-hmm. And I tell people this all the time, unless you've been a pastor's wife before, it's like being Michelle Obama. You can be married, you can have a husband, you can have 2 kids, but unless you are the first lady of the United States of America, you don't know what that is. And I tell people all the time, you don't know what it is to be a pastor, and you do not know what it is to be a pastor's wife unless you have walked those shoes, period. You can be close, you can walk with the person, you can hold a bag, you could be the adjutant, the armor bearer, the whoever else and whatever else. But unless you have to, and I mean for those that are doing it right, not mm-hmm. the ones that, God, whatever else, but the ones with the greatest of intentions, mm-hmm. to build ministry and to build their mates, mm-hmm. in the process, and to raise their family, and to, mm-hmm. It is interesting. It's an interesting role to have. It was spoken to me when I was younger, but I denied it. It was not something that I thought, especially after traveling the world, that I would even, but I took it on, and I said, my family is all of these things. I'm fine. When you don't give people a story, they will make one up for you.
Oh yeah.
Period. We don't give them what's going on. They will draw their own conclusions, and that's the most hurtful part of being silent.
It's hurtful, and I know that people who are on here who aren't, a pastor's wife, but you are a woman or a man who have experienced this, can relate to the fact that not only will they make it up, a lot of times it's the same ones you love. It's the same ones you prayed for. Mm-hmm. It's the same ones you've helped. Yeah. It's the same ones you love sincerely. Absolutely. And the gossip, the juicy gossip might be, it'll never be hotter than the truth. Oh, but let's move on.
Okay.
You have to be okay with what they say. Actually, one of the questions I have on here, let's just slide on into it. Mm-hmm. One of the questions I have on here is about haters and enemies and frenemies. How do you navigate through that and maintain? Because that's a part of all of this. Mm-hmm. Some people been hating on you, but they couldn't wait to say something hot and juicy. Mm-hmm. About your negative experience.
Right.
How do you navigate through the haters and the enemies and the frenemies?
Yeah, I think, and going back to a little bit about what you said and kind of sliding into that, a part of people's belief system when it comes to your story, if you can't tell it, is the credibility of somebody else that's telling what they believe the story is. If people know that I don't hang with but 3 people, but one of those 3 people come out and tell something, the credibility seems correct. She was always with that person. She was married to that person. Mm-hmm. She was with that person. They were best friends. So what happens is then comes the Judas kiss and the betrayal. And so before you can get your story out, another story will be told, mm-hmm. so that your story is in question. Mm-hmm. The thing about it is, the story tried to beat me to it, but I never told it.
Right.
What God allowed me to do was walk it out and let my life tell my story. He allowed me to
You have to make me take another cleansing breath. Let's go back. You said, sometimes it's a season where you have to maintain your silence, and you're saying, let your life tell the story. Sometimes, okay, I'm gonna put it on this wise. Sometimes we want to vindicate ourselves. We want to defend ourselves like we know we can. Mm-hmm. But if it's just sometimes for us, it's a season of making. Mm-hmm. So it's like, let God be revealed through just living your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. God told me clearly, he said, listen, if you're going to fight it, then I'm going to step back. If you're going to deal with this your way, then I'm going to let you do it. And I had faith enough. I said, God, if you really chose me, I didn't see, any futuristic anything. God didn't give me a timetable, connect the dots, a 7+7 is what up. He didn't give me no time frame. All I knew was I had to go through. But I'm going to tell you something. It was the best decision I could ever make to be able to do it exactly. Let me tell you this. So I said, not only, people think my only story is, my divorce and different things like that. But to be honest with you, when I went through that hard time, God told me, I don't tell this often because it sounds crazy, but I really hope this, out of everything, I hope this strengthens somebody's faith. I lost my job and God told me not to look for another one. I said, excuse me? I have a child. Like, what do you... The Holy Ghost told me, don't look for a job. I said, okay. I said, okay, I'm going to step up my faith and move in with my mother and just do what I can do until you say that's it. Nobody knows this is hot off the press, okay? Only people close to me know this particular. Wow. I've told it a few times in my motivational speaking, but just not on the internet. But I'm telling you, he told me, he said, if you trust me, I want to prove I can provide daily bread for you every day, you and your seed. I said, all right, no problem. Guess what I didn't do? I didn't look for a job. For 2 years, I went through hell. I went through 9/11. I was posting pictures and people wouldn't believe I was gathering scraps. You're going to make me emotional, girl.
That's okay. We gonna
I was gathering scraps of hair together to look appropriate. It was a time. And sometimes God won't let people rescue you because he doesn't want them to rescue you. He doesn't want them to have what it takes to be able to get you out of it because he wants you to stay in it. Yes, I could have had family that did X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I know I didn't have to go through it, but he allowed me to go through it and I stayed in it so I could get out of it what I needed so that when my testimony came, the only way to be able to powerfully give you this story and for you to believe it in your spirit and for people to cry and whatever they do when I do talk about it is for me to go through it. You're only going to believe somebody's true story when they've actually fumbled through the mud to get where they are. You know what I mean? Went through all the ridicule to get where they are, suffered in silence like some of you are suffering in silence right now. And you can't tell it and you can't reveal it and you're not in a position where you can do it. And so for me, for 2 years, I was jobless until God told me he brought a conversation to me. And it was through that conversation that he said, ask that person this, and he released me. And once I went through that process, within about 3 months, my life has never been the same. I ain't saying I'm rich at all. I ain't saying that at all, okay? One day. But I tell you, I ain't never seen that day since.
Oh my God.
God he restored everything. He let me move into a condo. He let me get a car. Had a friend give me a car for me and my child. And then God, a year ago, turned that car into a brand new car. I'm trying to tell you, it ain't never been the same since. And so it was worth every part of that time frame of my life, every single part. And for me, in that time frame, I wrote a book and, I did different things. And I'm telling you, God changed my whole story. He changed my life. He changed my life. And I don't regret anything at all.
So I love what you said about rescuing. You know, sometimes we look for others to rescue us, and our faith has to kick in. There's a season of time in our spiritual growth where our faith has to kick in, and God is like, no, it's just me and you this season. Like, you can't get rescued by your your parents and your home girl that's like, oh no, I'm down with you. No, it's like God is saying, no, it's just me and you. And this is where your faith and guess what? From this point on, you always know God has your back forever until the day you close your eyes.
Yeah. You when you get to know him on that level, when he becomes your everything, and you have nothing but him leading and guiding you every day, and you literally are at his beckoning whim of provision, you you see life very, very differently. You know, when you can rely on a job and you know you're getting your check every 2 weeks, you know you got this and you know you got that. And when God snatches everything you know life to be, you know, my life was church, work, home, church, work, home. Everything was snatched for me all at the same time. And it was just like, well, who the heck, what does that leave? Who does that leave me? What does that leave me? What do I become? You know what I mean? It was such a transition for me. And so, you know, no, he doesn't give you and just like going back to Job in the Bible, Job in the Bible, for those that don't know, because I hate when preachers say, oh, y'all know the story.
Right.
I don't know the story.
I don't know. Right.
Stop. You know, but you know, the biblical story of Job in the Bible, and he didn't allow anybody to help him. He didn't allow anybody to rescue him. He didn't allow anybody. He let his friends come and sit with him, but he didn't allow them. You know what, Job? You know what? You've been so good to me. You are upright man. Come stay with me and my family. He didn't let none of that. He literally allowed nobody to pull him out of what he had him in. And although Job had no idea double was coming, he had to do what he had to do. So again, I'm not saying I am Job. I'm just saying I do liken my story to him at times.
Right.
The level of faith that I take, which is why I'm glad it's in, you know, I'm glad it's written, because it allowed me the ability to know that you could go through such a hard time and just experience such hell. Like, I really feel like I went through hell. Like, I felt like I was going through hell, like for real. And I had never been there. Like, I've been through things in life, but that was just a different kind of season altogether, you know? And so, you know.
And just right here, what kept your mental health? Like, how did your mind stay healthy? Because, and let's be very, very transparent. Can we do this? Everybody, let's put on our seatbelts, click, click, because we on a transparent car, right? So even for the saints and for those who are not necessarily in Christ,
right.
A lot of times we lean on negative coping skills to get through a hard time. You know, you'll go back to smoking, you'll go back to drinking, you'll go back to having sex. You're feeling lonely, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling, you know, you'll start to lean on all of those negative coping skills. And you're just trying to battle with depression. It's like a whole fight with the spirit of depression. How did you keep your mind healthy enough to just say, I'm going to keep it moving?
I do feel like everything, I feel like the hedge removed was meant to take my mind. I would say that. I do believe that's what it was sent to do. I will say that because I know that the average person would not have survived the things that I went to emotionally, physically. The enemy even attacked me. God even allowed the enemy to attack me physically. I've been healthy all my life, and I was attacked. Like I was having what you call mini strokes and just different things. I was going and I didn't really get them checked out because I knew it was an attack. So I was spiritually just going through it. And of course, I'm not advising that. Go get checked out. But I'm just saying, for me, I knew it was spiritual warfare. I knew I was in warfare, and I knew the enemy was coming at me at any way that he could to steal my mind. So what did I do? I I literally had to come to the conclusion that it's not what you go through, but it's how you go through it that determines the end game for me. And so, although I cried, although I went through physically, although I did not understand, I was frustrated, I was ready to fight.
That's real. That's real.
I was, I was vulnerable. I was emotionally vulnerable. I was all of those things. I was devastated. I went through every emotion you can name. I'm sure that I went through that at the time. The only thing I can really tell you is God gave me a really, really close friend that allowed me, Steph, for people that follow Oprah and Gail. God gave me Steph, who was a member of my ministry at that time, and we were not as close, but that's when our relationship shifted to beyond just adjutant and first lady. But he gave me her ear, and what he would do, because she couldn't advise me, what he would do is he would let me talk. He would let me talk to her as if we were having a regular conversation. Come on, help me, Holy Ghost, remember. He would let me talk to her as if we were having a regular conversation, but he would give me the words and let me hear it back. That sound crazy?
No, I got it.
So he would let me be talking like this.
Yeah.
This like I'm talking to you. And he would drop revelatory nuggets and feed me that way. Spiritually, sometimes he would literally word my mouth for the counseling that I needed, because I couldn't call another individual. I couldn't trust nobody at the time. My trust in leadership, my trust in people, it was null and void at that time. And so God had to literally have me rely on him wholly and solely. So I can't say that's for everybody. I'm just telling you that's what happened for me, simply because of who God had to make me to be, and different. So everybody's situation is different, but he gave me an ear, and allowed me to talk it out. I will also say this is probably not popular, but I'm going to reveal some of my spiritual secrets. Something was revealed to me during that time called angel numbers. And I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not, but they are very popular, but I wasn't aware of them. And I kept seeing my birthday over and over again on different cars or just wherever. And so I began to research it. And from there, I began to, people going to think I'm crazy telling you. This will help somebody. Okay. What basically started happening was I started to see certain numbers that are connected to spirituality, like 3 3s, or 3 5s, or 3 7s, or 5 5s, or just whatever. And if anybody is interested, you can Google it. And what it did was it sends you like an angel message. This is what the energy or angels are saying to you right now. And I'm telling you, along with what God was downloading to me personally, those numbers would sometimes come to me as people are talking about it in the chat. It's a thing. It's a thing. And so I'm not saying heresies, apostles, we all deep and all that, but simplistically, it was confirmation a lot of times when I wasn't clear if I heard correctly or not. And so I'm being honest, and I'm just, kind of giving you my journey and things. And I'm telling you, there's a light that kind of went off of me when it came to that. So if that helps anybody, cool. If it don't, that's fine too. I'm just telling you that when you're in a place where light becomes what you need, and sometimes what you were used to isn't as available as you need it to be, because God shifts you to a different place. And sometimes not only just for yourself, but to make you more relatable to other people. Because what we got to remember is, especially like I know you can understand this, God shifted me because I was focused on one group of people. And although I had traveled the world and all of that, I wasn't traveling as a motivational speaker or anybody like that. So when the shift came and my only focus was shouting, and we was all on YouTube and just this whole thing, And it was almost as if God was like, okay, I'm done with you in that arena to
right. Mm-hmm.
And now I'm shifting you from all that you've done for all of these years,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to stretch you. I want to take what you have, but I want to stretch.
Hey, I think we lost you. Okay, it looks like her internet. Okay, might be now. Can you hear me? Okay,
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, you back.
I'm back.
You back.
Sorry. See, that ain't but the devil trying not let me get this part out. See? I need to give you some relativity to other people because right now, yes, you might be a first lady, you might have been a church girl, but I need to give you a story. I need to talk to you about losing your job. I need to talk to you about, this happening, that happening, because that makes you more relatable to people that, may not have the church story. And when I begin to embrace that, and I begin to embrace other things and ways God was shifting my mind and understanding spiritually, it's opened up so many doors for me to really connect with people, because everybody's not going to understand speaking in tongues. You know what I'm saying? And although that's my thing, that still works for me. Mm-hmm. But every arena doesn't put you in a place where that can be the case. Now you can pray in the spirit with regular English words and still be just as powerful as if you were speaking.
That's right.
Unknown tongue. So for me, it was taking the power in one arena and almost transitioning and transferring the ability to apply to every woman in the world almost.
Right. So, and I like what you're saying. At the end of the day, if somebody's listening and you are in a place where you're going through and you're spiritual, God might be taking you on a journey that looks so different than you've ever experienced. So, and it's almost like he'll still he'll get you in a quiet place so that you can only hear him. No more of, the influence by what we're familiar with, but he'll put you in that unfamiliar territory so that he can actually speak to you and lead you and guide you. Well, I just want, we've touched, there's so much more we could talk about.
We could go.
There is a lady or a man here who is feeling hopeless or feeling disappointed or despondent and just feeling depressed. How would you encourage them right now?
I would say that everything happens for a reason, including this moment. I would simply tell them to open up their mind, their heart, and their spirit to receive from areas that they wouldn't normally receive from. That if you've been led to listen to this particular broadcast or podcast, or if you've been led to read a certain book, or if you've been led to watch a certain commercial, down to commercials, anything, to be open to how you may be influenced or inspired, and to be open to applying that, because there's a lot of different ways that inspiration and motivation and optimism comes to us. And so I want to encourage that nothing is happening for no reason. It is to build your character. It is to build your spirit. It is to build your faith. It is to transition you and to shift you into whatever is next. I cannot give you a time frame, but I can tell you there's an expiration date.
Okay.
I can tell you that there's an end to your suffering, but it is all about, from this moment on, how you proceed with what you're feeling. If you need help beyond, optimism and motivation, then I definitely suggest therapy. I definitely suggest going to someone, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think my best friend just recently said you can believe in God and believe in your therapist at the same time. So I'm all here for that. But if it is somebody that can feel a tug in their spirit, but doesn't see a way out. Like I said, there sometimes is not an end date that God will show you right away. But if you could go through it every day as if it's your last day in that problem, in that situation, because you never know when that last push of faith is what God was looking for to transition you into your next. He wants to believe that you believe you can come out of it and that he can help you do that. And when you show him that above all odds, I believe God. I believe in myself. I believe that this situation is going to change for me and that there's a story behind this particular glory. Then you look at things differently. And so again, I'm not saying that you won't cry. I'm not saying it's not painful. I'm not saying you won't have sorrow, anxiety, panic attacks, whatever you may have based upon just the world right now that we live in. Is so much going on. But I will say that there's a plan beyond your understanding that will definitely kick into action when you least expect it. So if you could just find the strength every day in any way that you can to hold on, I'm telling you, you're a lot closer to the end than the beginning.
I love it. I love it. And it's just, and guys, please share this video, not for you, but for somebody who was not able to hear it. I promise you, they are going to be transformed. Okay, so I don't know if it's the motivational coach in me or the preacher in me want to pull out something you said. You said you have to live each day like that trial, like today I'm coming out of it. Mm-hmm. If there was an A flat, hit me, friend. You have to live each day like today is my day that I'm coming out, because you don't know when your expiration date to this. But no, just like you said, there is an expiration.
Listen, this is my book.
Let's go.
This is language of life. And the most powerful thing is you can't just think yourself into better. You have to speak yourself into better, because words are life and they transform into the atmosphere and in the universe and everything else that you can imagine. It brings a cloud of life. So even if you're not feeling it, just bring yourself. I'm telling you, some of the harder things to say are things that are not in existence right now, and also a truth to yourself. I have found myself at times when I saying ththings that I've had to proclaim and really admit to myself. And it's hard that you ever get choked up just saying something to yourself?
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, I can't believe I'm saying that. So number one, saying words that, you know what, I am in this place right now. You know what, I am going through this. I have been through this. I am a survivor. I am, and the truth is, maybe I have been a victim. Maybe I have been whatever. Communication and being able to say and admit certain things are a blessing, and it will definitely heal you. On the opposite side of that, being able to speak victorious words into your situation make a huge difference too. So I'm big on words. I'm big on communication. I'm really, really big on that. I feel like you have to talk. you have to be able to get it out, be able to emote. You have to emote. You have to, really explain it as best as you can, because everybody's not, the greatest communicator. And I get that, but everybody has to. But on the bottom line of all of that, if you could, and I have a lot of quotes in my book. It's not a shameless plug. It just is what it is. This book and any other book, Oprah's book, whoever's book, Lady D's book, if she has one, or tell her to write one. It don't matter where you get the information from or the quotes. It matters that you declare them every day, like you said, as if it's your last day. You know what? I cried my last. Look, take Mary. I cried my last tear yesterday. I mean, whatever you have to say to get you through those moments and those pivotal times in your life, say it, do it, and change your company. Change the company that's going to be the woe is me company all the time. And I'm not saying you don't need somebody to have, your back and your shoulder and all that. But after a while, you need company. You need a change of environment. You need the next level of friendships in your life, even if you're not there. But if God allows you an opportunity to be a part of somebody's life that is speaking higher than where you are, get around those people. Get around those individuals that will speak to where you are and bring you to where they are. And begin, like I said, to just completely, speak optimism and speak greatness over your life every day. And it will definitely transform your environment. I love you. I love you.
Okay, everybody, class, let's take another breath. Okay. That was so good. I can keep taking out points out of your message, but all night because you are so packed with so much wisdom and understanding. And I want to say from all of us to you, thank you for going through your trial and tribulation with grace, with understanding. Thank you for not leaning on the rescuers. Thank you for not even seeking the rescuers out. Thank you for letting the rescuers put their cape down and simply going through the process. And anybody that's listening to us, if you know that you are a rescuer, sometimes you might have to take the cape off. Let God process people. You know that you're in a position where you're saying, rescue me. I'm going to encourage you based on what Tamara has said tonight. Get in a place where you can hear God and let God speak to you. I am full. Thank you.
I knew you were going to bring it out of me.
Thank you. So listen, are you doing anything upcoming? How can people connect with you before we close out?
Well, I have my website, www.tamarahudson.com. I actually do have 2 major babies I'm working on right now, and I am so excited. I don't want to totally reveal them, but you know what? You know what? I'm going to go ahead. I just won't say what they're called, but I will put 2 ventures out there simply because I want you guys to get geared up and ready. Right. I am going to be releasing an online consignment shop that I'm working on right now. So I'm such a thrifter, and God has birthed this in me. So I'm actually working on the intricacies. It's going to launch August 17th. And so, devil, I didn't put it out there, and I don't care how you feel about it, but it is what it is, which happens to be National Thrift Store Day. So who knew, right? So mark your calendars, August 17th. You'll hear more about it. You'll see more about it. I'm so excited. And then I am also doing a women's empowerment in October, launching a women's empowerment. So I was not going to tell it, but I'm on here with Lady D, and I just felt led.
You have to do it. Right.
You're going to find out if you watch the show anyway, to the end.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm so excited. I can't wait to tell you guys the name of it. I'm so excited. And I have a part of my story I have not shared tonight that I'm going to reveal later on this year that will also knock everybody's socks off as well. But you have to wait to hear that.
You have to wait. So listen, once you get your information lined up, I will have to bring you back so that we can make sure, is it going to be virtual or is it going to be live?
Which
your women's I'm
working on that. I've actually was just recently talking to a venue about having something small, because you can still, unless anything major changes, you can still do something small. So I may have to do like a 25 for 25 for, just have a little audience, but I will be live. I will be live for sure, because I don't want anybody to miss this amazing movement that's going to happen. That I know God has given me these two movements. 2020, listen, tell somebody 2020 ain't going out without us getting something up out of here, okay? 2020 ain't going out. It ain't going down.
That's right. 2020, it might be a double in an unconventional way, but we still going to get what God has said over our life, period.
He's still Lord over all. And he's still in control. And I know it's a tough time in the world between social injustice and the COVID-19. But I tell you, every day I wake up with motivation that God is doing something great for all of us, despite what it looks like. So
nice. Okay, y'all, we are going to round it up. And so listen, October, we are waiting for our Lady Tamara to lead us into this women's empowerment. I'm so excited. Now, I am in love with all raspy voices from across the nation. I should start a raspy voice movement. I love my own raspy voice. I love your raspy voice.
Oh my God.
I know that the people down here, and we're almost done. We have I'm going to say 3 minutes left. I know that the people down here don't know that you're such an amazing talent. I know they can go on YouTube and find you. Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot, friend. That's okay.
My God, don't.
Oh, very quickly, if you think about a song, I don't care, secular, gospel, whatever it is, if you think about a song that, just a little snippet of it that really kind of shifts you from being like self-doubt into saying, okay, my resilience is kicked in,
Right.
what would it be? And could you for 1 second give us a snippet, friend?
See, I knew you were doing this to me. And what's crazy is I just sang this little snippet for my great aunt Bishop Britton's 70th birthday. And here's the confirmation. She literally just logged on and said something on the feed. So I know that's that confirmation I'll be talking about.
Confirmation, okay.
That was confirmation. So I sang a little bit of this. I'm not Mary, but here's a line of this, okay?
Go for it.
I just can't give up now. Come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me.
Okay. First of all, I want to cry, shout, sing.
You got me all the way together tonight.
That was beautiful. And listen, I believe, God, that next year I will sing just like that. I'm going to sing just like that next year. She told me to speak.
You sing, stop it.
I do, but come on now. Okay, and we're about to go, but I might as well ask this question since you just sung that snippet. Are you going to record again, or what's your, is that not?
People ask me all the time. I was actually doing something a few years ago. It was actually going to be R&B, and that didn't really work out completely. So we'll see. If I did one, that would be great. It's not, honestly, that is not really my focal point. Like, I love to sing and it'll always be a part of my life. But professionally, when God revealed to me around 30 that wasn't really where he was taking me, it hurt me. It hurt me bad. I had to really come to grips, because I thought up until 30, that's what I was going to be, the gospel Beyonce, you know what I mean? I was going to be dancing and stuff and singing to the Lord, but that didn't happen. Okay, that didn't happen. But I had to come to grips with that'll always be a part of my life, but it may not be my life in God's will. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm up for it.
Okay.
I'm up for it. We're going to see what the verdict is, but let me get these things out the way that I got going on, and then maybe I'll drop a single.
Yes, birthday babies. And like you said, drop that single. We are here for it. Well, Tamara, I love you so much. You have a huge fan base down south. I hope I've created that. Follow her on Facebook. Follow her on her website,
TamaraRHudson.com.
rhudson.com. And we still have, everybody is still like watching. Like, I'm so excited. Remember, if something she has said, or if you believe in this vessel right here, I'm talking about to speak to women across the country, overseas, etc., would you do me a favor and just simply bless her in her Cash App? Baby, I don't care if you got a lot of money. It could be $2. It could be $500. We don't care. But where I'm from, under Bishop Smith, I believe that sowing into people really does reap a harvest for us. What is your Cash App? Now, I wrote it down and totally forgot it. Your singing messed me up, friend.
I think it's $ Tamara R. Hudson, I believe. And it should be,
we'll put it in
the picture that picture that should, because I think somebody was trying to try it on Cash App too with me.
Okay.
The picture should be, let me bring it up. Hold on.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
So anything
that Tamara R. Hudson, and it should be me in the same outfit that's in the Counseling Cafe flyer. Yep.
Okay. So Tamara, a $ Tamara R. Hudson. I believe in where she's going. I believe in what she's gifting women and men across the country. I will definitely be sowing that seed or something into her just to say thank you.
And likewise, what you're doing on here is amazing. Let me stop and turn this back on you real quick. What you're doing is amazing. I have always loved you. Always. I love your smile. You have always been a joy. Your presence has always lit up a room. So I thank you for sharing your gift and your platform and your stage. You do not have to do stuff like this. I know all about it. Trust me. I know all about it. But I thank you for allowing God in this season to use you to open up the door for more stories to be told and more mental health awareness to be taking place, and just all of that. Whatever you're doing, keep on doing that. So we love you, and I will also be sewing that as well.
Oh, thank you. I love you. I love you so much. Guys, we are going to sign off because really I would like for her to sing the whole song, but I'm not going to be selling. I'm going to leave this girl and her raspy voice alone.
Next time. I got you next time.
Next time. But you know what? I don't believe God. I'm going to speak the single I'm going to speak the single. That's what I'm going to do. I love you guys so much. Y'all have a wonderful and a blessed night. I hope we were tonight. Share, guys. Bye. The broadcast doesn't even want to